He's literally the GOAT in this. He's one throat in hot dogs. Like,
yeah, he's throat goat.
He's the throat goat.
Yeah,
throat goat.
7 dogs per minute. It's
wild.
It's outstanding. You should put him up there with just some of the greatest competitors professionally of all time. So Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, Wayne Gretzky. These are all just the best athletes in their profession, in their sport.
Right.
Secretariat.
Yep. Best horse racing of all time. He's up there in my book.
Welcome back to SportNotes, everyone. Happy 4th. Today is July 7th. I'm Chad, your host, and across the beautiful US of A in Boston, Massachusetts, we have Guru, Zeke, and PJ. How are you guys doing today?
Excellent.
What's going on? Doing pretty well.
Yeah, good to hear. So today we have kind of a special episode for you. 4th of July, everyone's traveling, everyone's away. So co-host Maddie and our third guru, Peter, are still out of town. But we wanted to make sure to give you your updates. So the three of us are here, and we are going to do our best. So first of all, how was your 4th? What did you guys get up to this year?
It was great. We were up in Maine on a lake house with one of our friends' families.
Love that.
Yeah, on the boat, swimming, some golf.
You know what's crazy to me? Ever since I moved to LA, I've learned that a lot of people in the US just don't know, like they've never even heard of Maine.
What?
Really?
Yeah, dude, like this, because like we all grew up in New England, so to us, like we know Vermont, New Hampshire, all those places. So like, but a lot of people that didn't, like, especially from the West Coast, like they've heard of Maine probably, most likely, but like they're not really gonna know. It's like the same way if I was like, where's Indiana? You're gonna be like,
I mean, for the record, I know where Indiana is.
Well, good for you, Peach.
Just saying.
Jeez.
I actually
I bet you got a nice A in 6th grade history class.
I took what you said, Chad, quite literally and thought that no one had heard of Maine. I was like,
there is a story. Yeah. Well, there is a story. I don't remember. I wish she was here because Maddie would know. But someone had a fake ID from Maine, and they went to buy alcohol one time, and the guy apparently he was like, "Is Maine a real state?"
Oh god.
And the person was
That's
like,
tough.
"Yeah," like thinking he was like questioning them for it being a fake, and he's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "I've never even heard of it. Where is it?"
That's insane.
I'm like,
that is crazy.
There you go.
That's un-American.
More fun.
That is un-American.
That is bad for America. We need less TikTok, more education.
More geography. Come on. Get it going.
So Zeke, I think actually we're going to kick off with kind of a fun 4th of July related update. You said you have something for us. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So have you heard of the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest, Chad?
I have heard of it.
Okay.
I know there's a guy, I think his name is Joey Chestnut.
Correct.
Boom, nailed it. So
Pretty
I know
good.
that guy. I don't know much about him. I just know that he's like the go-to guy.
Yeah,
You're right.
He's the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
He's the GOAT.
Joey Jaws Chestnut, Jaws being his nickname. But
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
So it takes place every year on Coney Island in New York, right? So
Okay,
pristine Coney Island.
Pristine.
Perfect place to slug some glizzies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right? So you're right. So Joey Chestnut is the GOAT of hot dog eating, really over major league eating. There's this whole league, major league eating, that does all these different food eating contests. He is by far the GOAT. He's won the hot dog eating contest 16 times.
Wow.
So he's basically, since he's joined, he's won it almost every time.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and he's set the world record for most hot dogs and buns. 76 in total in 10 minutes. And he did that in 2021.
Wow. So wait, so just for anyone who doesn't know, can you guys clarify? So like the contest is, how does it work exactly? How much, it's as many as you can eat in how much time?
In 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
You have 10
10 minutes.
Yep.
And I assume it's just, we're talking raw hot dog and bun. No,
Hot dog and bun.
No condiments or anything like that.
No.
Nope. But you can dip it into say water, or some people choose Powerade to make it sweeter to cut the saltiness of the hot dog, but you can dip the buns in liquid to make it easier.
Oh, because it kind of wets them and
makes it easier to eat.
But he's literally the GOAT in this. He's one throat in hot dogs. Like
he's throat goat.
He's the throat goat.
Yeah, seven
goat.
7 dogs per minute. It's
wild.
It's outstanding. You should put him up there with just some of the greatest competitors professionally of all time. So Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, Wayne Gretzky. These are all just the best athletes in their profession, in their sport.
Right.
Secretariat.
Yep. Best horse racing of all time. He's up there in my book. But the reason why this was so special this year, this 2024, is he did not compete. He was barred from Major League Eating. He was not allowed to participate in the hot dog eating contest.
I think that's why I knew his name. I heard he was not participating this year. I didn't know he was not allowed.
Wasn't allowed because do you know why he wasn't allowed? So
I don't.
Let
me know, Zeke.
Yeah, that's why we're here, right? He had signed a partnership with a plant-based company that produces vegan hot dogs. So because of that, Major League Eating came out with a statement and said he is banned from competing because he is partnered with a competitor of ours. So he's not allowed to participate anymore. The vast majority of America, the Patriots out there, they are on Joey Chestnut's side and said it is a crime against freedom to not allow him to participate in this contest.
It's downright un-American, in my opinion. I mean, he has been a fixture of our July 4th festivities since 2005. The guy's just downing GLIZZYs just left, right, and center. I mean, not having him on the stage trying to beat his own world record every year, it's un-American.
It's un-American. It's un-American.
Yeah.
He's a staple of 4th of July. Me personally, I associate the hot dog eating contest with the 4th as part of celebrating it. And he's not if he's not part of it, it's just not the same.
Yep.
God, 2024, rough year for America, guys.
Right?
It was tough.
Tough. For a lot of reasons we won't get into here.
Was it 8 handicap? Yeah. 8. But I have, how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
We're not a political podcast, but also Joey Chestnut kicked from the contest. All right, well, so that's a shame, but tell us the good news, or at least just the news. Who did win this year? Was there anything significant that happened this year during the contest?
Well, the one thing about Chestnut not being in the competition is it was a lot closer this year than a normal year. So it came down to the wire, but the guy who won, his name's Patrick Bertoletti. He ate 58 hot dogs in 10 minutes. So still pretty...
That's pretty good.
Respectable numbers.
Respectful.
It's not bad.
But I will say, get this, not being allowed to participate in the Nathan's hot dog eating contest didn't prevent Joey Chestnut from not eating hot dogs on the 4th. He did so at a Army base in Texas as like this charity event. He has a lot of relatives who are veterans.
Okay.
So he competed against 4 other soldiers on the 4th of July. So it was 4 against 1 in 5 minutes. He ate 57 hot dogs.
Oh my gosh.
So he ate 57 in 5 minutes. The winner, Pat Bertoletti, ate 58 in 10 minutes.
It's 50. I was about to say, oh my God, so he lost, but no, it was 57 in half the time.
Yep, and he beat the soldiers. The soldiers had 49 in 5 minutes.
Okay, that's actually pretty impressive, though.
That's crazy.
Yeah, out of 4, yeah.
That's awesome. I bet that got more views than the Nathan's contest itself.
Yeah, I mean, he was live streaming it on his YouTube channel, Meet and Greet.
Wow, that is pretty cool. I'm going to have to watch that. And then one last thing before we move on. I also heard there was some like big throw up incident that happened this year, but I don't know.
That was during the lemonade chug competition.
Okay. Got
So
it.
you have to chug a gallon of Nathan's lemonade in the fastest amount of time. Badlands Chugs, Badlands Booker, he ended up breaking his own world record and pretty much chugged a gallon in like less than 20 seconds. It's just like insane.
Yeah, that's where the puking was.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was excellent. Excellent TV.
God.
Really liked it.
Yeah.
See, these are just things I could never do, or I don't know if I'd ever aspire to do. I think I'm happy to just like watch it and enjoy it.
You got to be built different to do something.
You got to
like
be
that.
built different.
Yeah.
I just don't, God, I eat like one hot dog and I'm curled up on the couch for.
Let alone not being able to one-throat it like these guys.
All right, well, let's move forward. Let's move on to you, Zeke, and you give your other professional sports updates for the week, because I think we should consider the hot dog contest a professional sport. So let's head over to Zeke's Lounge and give us what you got.
This will be a pretty short summary. Not a ton happened in baseball this past week. I will say, starting off, something pretty rare, right, PJ?
Pretty cool.
It doesn't occur too often. Happened last Sunday, so after we finished recording, someone on the Texas Rangers Major League Baseball team hit for the cycle in one game. Have you heard of the cycle before?
No.
Familiar with that term?
I feel like I've heard you guys mention the term. You're going to have to explain what it is. I don't really know.
Yeah. So I know we're not doing term of the week, but basically hitting for the cycle is when you can get 4 kinds of hits in baseball: a single, a double, a triple, and a home run, which we did cover in last episode with Maddie. Right.
And to be clear, just for people who don't know, those, when you say single, double, that means what base you get to. So like if you hit and make it to first base, that's a single. If you get to second base, that's a double. Third is a triple.
Correct.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. You got it 100% correct. So
yeah.
Hitting for the cycle is you get one of those hits each in one game only. And that's called hitting for the cycle. But you have to have a double, a triple, and a home run to complete the cycle.
Double, triple, home run, and a single, like a regular on base. Okay. And so one guy on the Texas Rangers did that.
Yep. His name's Wyatt Langford, and he's actually a rookie too, which I think is more impressive. I think in your rookie year, you struggle a little bit. So the fact that a rookie did this in his first year is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was super cool.
That's very cool. What are people going to be talking about if this comes up? Just the fact that this guy was a rookie, and that's sort of not expected.
Yeah,
it's rare.
It's just a rare feat in general. If you think about it, like getting one hit in a baseball game is pretty hard to do. I think the most successful players, get a hit 30% of the time when they're at the plate, right? So the fact that he got 4 hits in one game is, again, impressive. But they're also each a different hit, and a home run and a triple is incredibly hard to get. You got to be fast. You got to hit it to a weird part of the baseball stadium where there's these weird bounces. So
I'm pretty sure his last hit too was in the 8th inning. Didn't he hit the home run?
Yeah, I think you're right. He hit the home run to complete the cycle,
which is impressive.
So it adds a little more dramatic effect to it as well.
Yeah,
for sure. Very cool. All right, good for him. That's very exciting.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got for us, Zeke?
And then just continuing from last week's episode, Phase 2 of the MLB All-Star Game voting concluded. So the starters were fully announced. So this week, I think you're going to be hearing a lot about, hey, these are the starters. Pretty chalk lineup. 3 players from the Philadelphia Phillies got in, 2 from the Milwaukee Brewers, 2 from the Baltimore Orioles, 2 from the New York Yankees. These are all the best teams in baseball right now.
Yeah.
So you have to think that they'll have more players getting into the starting lineup because they're the best teams. So starters were announced. You'll probably hear some conversation about that. But tonight, actually, so later today, you'll probably be hearing this talked about tomorrow. The rest of the rosters are announced, the pitchers and the reserves. So the conversation really is going to revolve around snubs, people who didn't get into the game, people who feel like they should have deserved to get in.
People who didn't get in but should have. They should have.
Exactly. I know, PJ, you've had pretty strongly about a Red Sox player who didn't get voted in currently.
Jarren Duran.
Yeah. So a lot of like diehard baseball fans, they'll probably be talking about, hey, these guys should have gotten in, but they didn't, or surprise ones. And so we'll see. We don't know what the rest of the rosters look like, but it'll definitely be something worth discussing once we know more.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. But you're saying basically the starters that have been announced this past week, for the most part, expected.
No surprises.
Top players.
Yeah.
If people are talking about this around the office or whatever, probably the conversation's going to be no real snubs, nothing really unexpected.
Yeah.
Kind of waiting for the rest of the teams to be decided tonight.
It's exactly it. So that basically every year, that's generally where the discussion is centered around. People who got snubbed deserve to get in, or just surprise picks. So we're going to find out way more tonight, and I'm sure that'll be the talk of the baseball world all next week.
And the game is on it next week,
Yeah, the game is on July 16th, so there's still time. There's going to be a lot of discussion leading up to it. We've got the home run derby the day before, so a lot more to come in the baseball world.
Perfect. So next week we will you'll report on any snubs or any big things that happen just in time to just before the MLB All-Star Game actually happens.
Definitely, and hopefully we can start the Golnick Bowl next week too.
We will. Yeah, stay tuned for that. That's going to be kicking off next week. All right, well, great, Zeke, and that's all you got for us, I think.
All I got, yep.
Sweet. All right, then, PJ, let's head to you. Let's go over to PJ's patio. Tell us what happened in soccer this week.
Well, as Americans, we had July 4th, and it was a great week for patriotism in that regard. However, on the soccer field, it was not. The United States ended up losing on Monday night to Uruguay, and they are out of the Copa America. They lost 1-0. So now the conversation is going around saying, should Greg Berhalter, the United States head coach, should he keep his job? You know where I stand on this. I think you got to get the guy out. The the United States Soccer, they're having a comprehensive investigation that allegedly is going to end in the middle of this week, and we'll know what's going to happen with Berhalter's future. But a couple notable things about the United States getting knocked out. So the United States, they have hosted 19 tournaments in the United States, throughout the time that we've had a national soccer team. And
is that just 19 in the Copa or just 19
international soccer tournaments?
Got it. Okay.
So those 19 years, the United States had always gotten out of the group stage. This year, for the first time when we've hosted, we did not make it out of the group stage. Wow. Huge failure.
And PJ, can you just quickly clarify what you mean by the group stage?
So the group stage is you get sent into a group of 4 teams, and then you play each team once. You get points, 3 points for a win, 1 point for a tie, 0 points for a loss. And
are those
pretty
teams
much
are those teams in your group, are those randomly decided, or is it based on sort of like how you're expected to do?
So typically they're randomly decided. They're put into kind of pots, but pretty much you have to finish in the top 2 of your group, so first or second, and if you don't do that, you don't move on. So the United States finished 3rd in their group, above Bolivia. Bolivia finished in the last because they didn't win a single game. But
brutal.
An interesting thing about Berhalter in particular, a lot of people think that he's going to be fired this week. There are
this week they think he's going to be fired?
Yep, I think that after they do their comprehensive investigation on what went wrong, I think that he's probably going to lose his job. I would be shocked if he keeps it.
And PJ, would you say the general consensus, like if people are talking about this around, I don't know, in any sort of context, you think the general consensus here is like, that should be the move, that should be what happens? Or are there people who are like stans, like Greg stans? They want, #save Greg.
I mean, I think if you're a Greg stan, you don't watch enough professional soccer or you just don't know what you're talking about. I think that normally what we see with professional soccer, Chad, is teams are very quick to fire their coaches when things aren't going right. So I've got a couple of names here that I've seen throughout the media of coaches that could come in. So we have Wilfried Nancy. He coaches the Columbus Crew in the MLS. They won the MLS Cup in 2023.
That's like the Major League Soccer, league in the U.S.
Yeah.
Major Leagues, yeah.
Yeah. So Jim Curtin, Philadelphia Union, also in Major League Soccer in the United States. We do have a little bit of chatter about Jurgen Klopp, who previously coached.
Dude, what are these names?
Nothing like a German coach in U.S. soccer.
He's a German soccer coach.
Oh,
so
man.
He coached over in Europe, and he coached Liverpool. He left Liverpool.
I'm gonna cut that. That was horrible.
Most famous club in the world.
Not the most famous club in the world, but he did
more famous than Arsenal.
Probably
PJ
not.
shirt.
Yeah, I'm wearing an Arsenal shirt. So
an Arsenal shirt during the 4th of July week. That's a bold play.
It's got a cannon on it. That's pretty patriotic.
At least Zeke bothered to wear a golf shirt.
Hey, it's not. I almost wore my American flag bucket hat, but it wouldn't fit over the headphones that I got on.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
But Klopp is lauded as one of the best coaches in the world. So a lot of people are saying, hey, maybe we can get him to come to the United States and coach the national team. I think it's a total long shot. I don't think there's any chance it happens.
Got to pay a bunch of money.
Yeah, if that happened, it would be crazy. But long and short of it is, I think that Berhalter should probably be fired this week.
And those are some names that you think will be circulating around, like most likely will be replacing him.
Yeah, so I think Wilfried Nancy, Jim Curtin, Jurgen Klopp, and then there's one other guy, Steve Cherundolo, who coaches LAFC. He's another guy that you might hear. So if it comes up in conversation, maybe in the office, you can drop a couple of those names. In particular, drop Klopp, because people will kind of be like,
you're
Klopp.
It's going to come up because
easy to remember.
It was reported that his fate's going to be decided middle of the week. Like it was officially reported by a major news company.
Oh my God!
They're going
so
to
next week. So next week in our official second episode, since this is technically not, PJ, you'll have the news for us, and you can. That's really easy to remember. Drop Klopp. So if you're in the office, people are talking about, hey, who's going to replace Greg? Say Klopp.
Yeah, well, you can say Klopp, but I would say, hey, it would be cool if they hired Klopp, but the chances of it happening is low.
Greg is ruining sports.
Yeah,
Greg's ruined
ruined freedom is what he did. That's what he ruined my 4th of July.
Yeah, damn. All right, great updates, guys. Really good stuff. So quickly before we wrap up, we do want to include the Future 5, just so you guys all know a couple quick pointers to look out for over this next week. So guys, take it away with our Future 5.
We have a couple of soccer games happening this week. So the European Championships, their semifinal games are happening on July 9th and 10th. We have France and Spain, England and the Netherlands playing in those two games. And then the Copa America semifinals are also happening on the 9th and the 10th of July.
Cool.
We got Argentina versus Canada, and then Uruguay versus Colombia.
And then we got the Wimbledon men's and women's semifinals. We don't know who's in them yet, but they will be decided. That is occurring the 11th and the 12th of July, so Thursday and Friday of this next week.
And going back to soccer, the Euros and the Copa America, they finish up on July 14th. So we got a lot of soccer that day, and, 2 champions will be crowned that day.
And then also the Wimbledon men's and women's finals will be Saturday and Sunday of next week, so the 13th and the 14th. And then finally, be on the lookout for home run derby announcements of next week. The field should be set. Like I said, most exciting part of the All-Star Game weekend is the home run derby, so just be on the lookout for that.
Awesome. We'll wrap it up here, just trying to keep it short and sweet today. But thank you for tuning in. If you did, we wanted to make sure to give you your updates, even on this kind of unique week. Hope everyone had a good 4th, even despite Joey Chestnut not being in the official Nathan's hot dog eating competition and the U.S. being knocked out of the Copa. It really is a rough year for the U.S., I would say.
It was tough.
It's a rough year for the U.S.
And the rockets' red glare were so gallantly there.
Yeah, but you know what? Great. We won't get into that. Because
there's always next year.
Here. There's always next year. There's always next year. The U.S. is only 248 years old. That's crazy, isn't it? We got a long way to go, and we'll get there.
That's inspiring.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
thank
inspiring.
You,
we'll end on that
great.
note. All right,
awesome.
Thank you guys for tuning in. This is SportNotes. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok for updates throughout the week. Subscribe to our YouTube to get more videos like this, and we'll see you next week for our official second episode.